Okay, guys, wanted to take you through the BYOB tool. That's Build Your Own Backtest. It's kind of a good fundamental starting point when looking at understanding if there's edge in sort of the trading thesis you want to apply through TAT. I'm going to draw your attention first to the data set you're going to be pulling directly from our database and the testing tool. And this is tick level data. So very good for 0DTE, where you're really getting kind of a solid understanding if there was a stop, intermittent, and so on. So very reliable. You're going to be picking iron condor testing here for the purpose of this video. And we're going to be targeting a maximum of $1 on a 50 wide spread. Okay. This is just, again, for training purposes only, very, very straightforward type of test. I like to test everything with one contract just to see kind of how the drawdowns, how the PCR, how the win rate looks. But you could obviously size this based on buying power, but based on equity and so on, and that's done here. We're going to assume we have a $100,000 starting balance. Again, this is just for simplicity of math and calculation. And we're going to give it a 1.5 stop loss, essentially. It's pretty common to what you're seeing kind of the traditional time-based entries do. But again, you could test different stop levels, and the rudimentary explanation is the higher the stop, the higher the win rate, but that doesn't necessarily mean a higher PCR. So I highly encourage all of you to test this thoroughly. Notice the data set has slippage already embedded in it. So there's 5 cent slippage on the entry, and we'll deal with that when we get here. Profit target, we're going to expiration, and then so we want to put in our commissions. Commissions are obviously a drag. Commissions will vary by broker, but I like to kind of look at $2 per spread. Nothing for the fees. Open slippage, I'm going to leave at 0 because there's obviously 5 already baked in. And then closed slippage, I'm going to assume is about 10 cents. Now we're going to say, hey, this is the VIX and premium max min. So I just, for purposes of this training, I'm going to say only sell premium when VIX is under 30. We're going to go back to the beginning of 2025. And then we're just going to pick just puts. Again, we're just testing puts for this purpose. And we're going to say just PM. Let's just focus on selling PM puts with no sort of trend, just blindly selling every 15 minutes till 3 o'clock. We're going to exclude FOMC. So when Fed speaks, we don't want to be entering. And then we're going to run the test. The system is now processing all of those trades and will essentially spit out a win rate, a PCR, and a drawdown. Before we dive into this key summary section, this test now has a unique URL, which you could save and share with others. And then we could now dive in to see how this did. So overall, this has about a 6.4 PCR and about a 65% win rate, so fairly significant. A very, very good MAR. I'd say anything above, ideally you're shooting for somewhere in the 4s, but this is, definitely very solid. You can see your drawdown on 100K. You can see the sort of the CAGR, sort of the compounding return, and some other key stats, but those are the ones I really like to focus on. And basically at that point, you could export these sort of daily balances or export trades and then run them through ChatGPT or any other tool, like an AI tool, to see maybe I should only sell every 30 minutes. You could really play with the data here. Maybe you only want to sell during certain days, or for this kind of to showcase what we've pre-built here is, hey, maybe I just want to sell when there's a trend. And we're looking for a 20 EMA, so being above the 40 EMA on a 1 minute time frame. So if we run a trend analysis on PM puts, meaning, hey, we're seeing upward trend trajectory, we'll see if that helps improve PCR. And it does pretty dramatically. Look at what that does to PCR. We can see that is now an 11 PCR, smaller drawdown, and all the numbers seem to improve. So definitely something there to explore when looking at trend PM puts. You can do the same thing for calls. You could target different premium. And every time you run a test, you'll have a new link here that you could save, share, and kind of keep in your own records to go back and reanalyze. That should give you a solid understanding of how the BYOB tester works. Highly encourage everyone to explore this in thorough detail before jumping into live trading. Thank you.